Yes. Now, this aiding and abetting, 18 U.S. Code, any person who knowingly aids, abets, counsels, commands, induces, or procures the commission of any offense may be found guilty of that offense. Now, that's aids, abets, counsels, commands, induces, or procures. For an example, a charge would read theft. Oh, of the United States government property without permit. Pooch. Aiding and abetting, ooch, of government property without a permit of law. Aiding and abetting in violation of 18 U.S. Code 641 and 2. The person or persons must knowingly associate with the criminal activity, participate in the activity, and try to make it succeed. Now, for every individual that said, well, this is what we're going to do, I've got to keep my dog under the house, so I'm going to build an underground structure where I'm going to steal government property. I'm not going to involve the building department because the building code inspector says, well, I just don't know. Ouch. But they do know. Now they're aiding and abetting those that have theft of the actual dirt that belongs to the government without a permit to build. Now, in other words, the defendant must actually do something to assist in the commission of the crime. How does the building department assist in the commission of the crime of building anything without a permit? Well, then they don't enforce the law. Now, the affirmative act of association must occur either before or during the commission of the crime by the principal that had to have some sort of top secret location. And aiding and abetting those that have stole the property of the government, causing the commission of a crime. If a person willfully causes another to commit a federal crime, the violating of civil rights statutes, the violating of the requirements of the VAWA, those are federal crimes. Now, you told the commissioner to issue the protection order without the signature of the petitioner, the fraudulent use of the state court seal, under the false premise that the state court officer was to sign it, and it was for the new protection order being issued or the old one. You caused the court officer to commit the crime of issuing a weapon surrender form under false pretenses. Now, I included this law about forgeries. Let's go back to the email. Now, as a father, I have told you that I want my 5 sons, and I will imprison every oath of office in this nation, thinking that they could all conspire together to not enforce the laws because that's the way that they were going to go. Now, I know I made these videos for you. Ooch. The declarant is the owner of the government property that was stolen. Can you issue a trespass order? In the commission of the crime of stealing the actual property of the government? No, you can't. Well, then, there's no possible way, that there could be an owner of it when it belonged to the government. Now, the undersigned owner, there is no owner. You might have had the property on top of your top secret bunker, but you sure the fuck didn't own the property under it. The United States government does. Did anybody issue a trespass order, Pooch? Why don't you give me all the trespasses of every officer of the nation that trespassed any person from any actual geographical location, and then just see if there's anything underneath there that they didn't have a permit to build. Pooch. Now, you could use trespass orders so that nobody would go snooping around to see what was underneath the property. But that would be the commission of the crime of theft of government property. You actually don't You can't build top secret tunnels. I was looking at fallout shelters. Yes. And declarant of premises who falsely swears on the declaration provided on this section may be guilty of false swearing under RCW 9A72.040, making false and misleading statements to a public servant. Now, well, now, without the signature of the owner or the representative of the actual property, did somebody make a false or misleading statement to a public officer that trespassed me from a property without the signature? Well, both of which are gross misdemeanors. False swearing. Official misconduct. A public servant is guilty of official misconduct if the intent to benefit or to deprive another person of a lawful right. I have the lawful right to due process. That's what it says. When you decided to deprive me of the lawful right, you committed the crime of official misconduct. He or she intentionally commits an unauthorized act under color of law. You colored the law to say that you do not have to have proof of service prior to having court hearings. You colored the law to say that the petitioner does not have to appear in court. You colored the law as to say that the petitioner did not have to institute the court proceedings. You colored the law to say that the law enforcement doesn't have to be involved in two-count criminal complaint. You have colored the law because of your excuse of thinking that everything you do is okay because of your conspiracy. Now, he or she intentionally refrains from performing a duty imposed upon him or her by law. The law requires the RCWs. Proof of service. When you issued a protection order in 2011, you are guilty of official misconduct, Ken Williams. When you reissued it after giving my wife a dissolution of marriage a week later by minute order, pooch. That is another official misconduct, Brent Basden, pooch. Now, I can really add up the official misconducts, I'll tell you right now. Now, official misconduct is a gross misdemeanor. You lose the badge. Ooch. You give up your gun, Brent. Ooch. Now, Bill, obtaining a signature by deception or duress. If you had obtained the signature of the court officer by the duress of informing her that I had a person is guilty of obtaining a signature by deception or duress with the intent to defraud or deprive he or she and cause another to sign or execute a written court order. That's going to be a Class C felony on the part of whomever it was that told the court officer. You caused duress to Christy Miller without the actual appearance of the protected person because there's no signature of the protected person. And she did it. She agreed to sign the weapons order surrender form because of the duress that you caused her. Now, that'll be a Class C forgery. Injure or defraud myself of my rights as an American citizen. Injure or defraud my sons of a father. Injure or defraud the state of Washington of their lawful right to have the laws enforced. Now, this forgery of Christy Miller, one of them is, one of them isn't. Then there's the initials of Christy Miller. Now, annulling under this section, the crime will be considered committed in a locality with persons, so on and so forth. Forgery is a Class C felony. Now, when we start really adding up the years, we could be at 50 or 60.